Was saying that they have replaced the opponent, or Serrano was looking for a new opponent, and then they'd confirmed that the new opponent was...
Is it you?
It's not me, unfortunately. I did put my hand up. Yes.
Really?
Yes, I did. I did ask my representatives to make sure they were aware that I am ready for the challenge.
Oh, that would be something.
But the article I read, the MVP spokesperson had said that her new opponent is a better boxer than Erica Cruz, younger, and has a winning record, which I thought, well, that's promising. But yeah, so I think they've got someone else already, but I did ask to make sure that they were made aware that I'm ready.
Okay, so I'm seeing this now. I guess I missed it.
They need an opponent.
But here's the thing. If this falls through for whatever reason, can we say definitively you are ready to go? You would be ready to fight in 17 days from now.
Let's go. I'm already over this side of the world. Come on.
That's true. You're in America. This is perfect.
And I don't have to worry about cutting weight because I just boxed at 122.
Right. Okay. So we could put your name in the hat.
She's just done a whole camp. She's just done a whole camp for a southpaw. So, I mean, it makes sense. She doesn't even have to, change our tactics too much. I mean, I'm a very different fighter to Erica Cruz, but we're both southpaw.
This is great. I mean, clearly MVP and Matchroom are working together this Friday. They've worked together in the past. This should be pretty easy. I like this. Let's go. San Juan. Have you been to Puerto Rico?
I can't do any more. I've said I'm ready, so...
Well, I don't know if you did it publicly, so this is different. This is big. Have you been to Puerto Rico?
I've not been to Puerto Rico. I'd love to go.
Even more reason to go. I feel like this is a big deal. The replacement's not going to be bigger than you.
If they haven't got an opponent, if they're still looking, I am available.
Okay.
Well, unfortunately for Skye Nicolson, they've already landed on Amanda Serrano's next opponent, Reina Tellez, which we talked about in my previous video, though I won't begrudge Skye her ambition and willingness to step in on short notice against somebody like Amanda Serrano, who she's wanted to fight for a very long time. Apparently she's been passed over again. I think if Amanda Serrano had decided to give Skye this opportunity, it would have got a mostly warm reception, because Americans are big on backstory more than just boxing, and they know that Skye's wanted this fight for a long time. And there is also knowing who Skye Nicolson is. They're more familiar with Skye than, say, Reina Tellez, though oddly enough, I think Reina makes for a more aesthetically pleasing fight and a more exciting fight than Skye would have. Even if the audience is a bit more familiar with Skye, they're also familiar with her methodology. They know she's a stick-and-move outboxer. A fight between Skye and Amanda would have been Amanda and Sarah Mahfoud all over again. Skye Nicolson and Tiara Brown all over again. Fight between Amanda and Skye would have played out the same way that those fights played out. You will remember that Amanda Serrano had to try to pin down a moving target in Sarah Mahfoud that was trying her best to box from the outside, but was giving up rounds in doing so, not being busy enough. That would have been Skye. You will remember when Skye Nicolson fought Tiara Brown. Tiara was particularly aggressive, crashing the pocket, being busy. Well, that's what Amanda would have did. Likely better. Activity is how Tiara beat Skye. Activity is how Amanda would have beat Skye, because we all know Amanda's very busy within a round, so that when Skye doesn't land that opportunity, I'm not heartbroken about it. I feel that stylistically, we've already seen that fight. Though I won't begrudge Sky her ambition, I appreciate that she still wants these big fights with the likes of Amanda Serrano at 126, Ellie Scottney at 122. She's got the right attitude, but for some people, she just doesn't have the right base style, at least. Not for me. Pure boxers are not my cup of tea. They don't make for the most entertaining fights. I feel that Reina Tellez, comparatively, will help to put on more of a show for the Puerto Rican fans early next year than Sky would have. Sky was going to play keep away all night. Boxing's version of freeze tag. While that style is effective and Sky is very good at what she does, that doesn't make her at all entertaining. So I'm not at all heartbroken that she was passed over. Those are the breaks.
But ultimately, I have to be victorious. The games are done. It's time to lock in. I want him to pray for me. I want him to pray for my opponent because he's going to need it.
Official prediction.
I just outclass this kid. That's all it is. I'm just going to outclass him. I'm a serious fighter. That's just the difference. I'm a serious fighter. You're going to get fucked up. It is what it is. Yeah, we could do another face-off, but I just believe I'm going to smash you. I'm going to smoke your boy.
How does a mismatch like this look like? How does it play out? What we've seen from Jake in the past versus what we know about Anthony, and given their physical dimensions, how do they stack up against each other? Well, the difference between a well-schooled boxer and a not-so-well-schooled boxer is usually the lead hand. It's usually the jab. It's usually what separates them, and whoever can win the jabbing contest. Now, given the physical dimensions of the combatants, Anthony being noticeably taller, noticeably longer, and heavier, he's going to pump out that jab. And there's going to be a lot of weight on that jab. Now, normally what Jake Paul tries to do is shake and bake, get on his toes, and stay behind his own jab. Though against a fighter who's taller and longer than he is, that strategy is ill-advised. Creating space. Against a taller, longer fighter, creating space is ill-advised because they don't really need to be close to you to touch you, and you're giving them the room they need to get full extension on the arm. In this instance, full extension on the jab. That's if Jake Paul tries to fight how he normally fights. If he tweaks his strategy for a taller fighter, tries to come forward on Anthony Joshua, tries to crash the pocket, he still gets knocked out. Jake Paul trying to outmuscle Anthony Joshua mid-range to inside coming forward. Oh yeah, he gets knocked out. To me, there's only one way this fight ends, and that's with Jake Paul getting knocked out.
Is there a danger for Jake Paul fighting Anthony Joshua, someone that you were linked to fight for so many years?
It's very dangerous. This is what he getting himself into is a very dangerous situation. You know what I mean? And if Anthony, like I said before, it's all been what's in the script. If it's a script, I think it's a script. That's just my opinion. You know what I mean? I'm not taking him away from the fight. I think it's going to be a good, entertaining fight however long it lasts. And it's an excitement fight, as well. And when I look at these fights like this, I look at exhibition. I look at a money grab. You know what I mean? And I do all that. But if it's not like a fight that's rigged or some type of agreement in the contract, it's going to be dangerous for Jake. You understand? You're talking about a former champion and a still active heavyweight fighter right now. He ain't dealt with no former fighters. Not that I know of. If I'm wrong, then forgive me. But I don't know anyone that he's been an actual fighter that's active in fighting. We can't look at Mike Tyson because he's not active. He's old. And we looked at that. That was a fun fight. That was like, it's a fun fight. You know what I mean? But this one, if it's real, then.
People question, whether fights like this are quote-unquote real. Like Deontay Wilder said something. What's the simplest answer you give them?
I give them a cease and desist letter in their email for lying on my name, and then the lawsuit's coming right after because these people won't stop lying. And I honestly take it as a compliment, but people need to shut the fuck up. And Deontay Wilder, he's been hit a lot by Tyson Fury, so he's clearly not the smartest guy. But there's nothing in the contract. AJ can attest to it. We're going to war, and that's the end of the day that all my fights have been like.
Heard Jake Paul threaten legal action against Deontay Wilder and anyone else who suggests that his fights are anything but fights, that the fights are scripted or that the fights are rigged. Not the first time we've heard that. Somebody saying Jake's fights aren't real, and the people on Jake's side saying that if that keeps up, they're going to be contacted by the lawyers. Most obvious component is that if too many people are of the opinion that Jake's fights are anything but fights, it affects their marketability. Are you even watching a boxing match? Because that's what they're selling, and that's how they need all of this to appear. But more than that, not just the marketability stuff, but for the mammoth risk that Jake Paul is now taking on, of course he's going to want people to appreciate that. Yes, he stands to make a sizable sum from Netflix boxing Anthony, but he could really get hurt here. He could really get beat up. To where if the fight is real, and so are the risks, of course Jake is going to want people to appreciate that, to take stock of it, that listen, I'm no lifetime boxer, I'm a late entry into the sport, but look at who I'm fighting. I'm in here with Anthony Joshua, before Deontay Wilder, before Tyson Fury. None of those two have fought this guy yet, but here I am. I'm fighting him, the novice boxer, the guy you guys call an influencer, a YouTuber. I've got the heart and I've got the cojones to do it, so that when I do it, don't call it fake. Don't call it scripted. The risks are real, and I'm taking them on. I get the sentiment. I get his outrage. I get why he's threatening to send out cease and desist letters to Wilder or anybody else who calls this scripted. Not just because it affects the marketability of what he's doing, but because maybe for him, it's insulting.
Jake and Joshua both enrolled in VADA testing?
USADA testing. They've both been tested, I don't know, I can't give you that. I mean, I want to say well over half a dozen times.
Yeah. How come they're not in VADA testing?
Because that was a decision from MVP.
Did you push for VADA testing?
Yeah, but we've been VADA tested our whole career. USADA are a very reputable agency as well.
Why would they not want VADA testing?
Yeah, better ask them. But we didn't have a problem with it. USADA are extremely reputable. It's not like some random agency that's popped up from nowhere. But we were tested by UCAD as well. Obviously, you saw the different... yeah, well over half a dozen tests, I believe. So we were happy with the procedure.
Do you know how many tests Jake's done?
It'll be the same.
It's not exactly an accurate evaluation from Eddie Hearn of USADA versus VADA, as VADA is more commonly used in the sport of boxing, and we all know that. USADA doesn't catch as many fighters in the act as VADA, so that when you end up using them instead of VADA, it looks a certain way. I remember all those years ago ahead of Maypac when Floyd Mayweather made the decision to hire USADA for the anti-doping testing instead of VADA. That elicited a lot of criticism way back then, and what was that, a decade ago? Over a decade later, USADA is not as reputable as VADA, but that was a decision MVP made, and you can make of that what you will. It's their party. Why would they have a preference? You can make your own inferences. The imagination can run wild, speculating why the people at MVP would have preferred to use USADA instead of VADA, when in many ways VADA is the gold standard in boxing, and you're a boxer. This is a boxing match. Now, I've heard people say things in the past that Jake Paul is juicing, that Jake Paul is on roids. He just so happens to be fighting the biggest fighter that he will have ever fought in Anthony Joshua. I feel like this coming out will fuel those suspicions. Now, that doesn't make any of it true, but people talk. It's not like MVP doesn't use VADA either. For the upcoming Serrano versus Cruz fight, the ones who caught Cruz in the act was VADA. So why did MVP choose to use VADA for Amanda's fight, but USADA for Jake's? Hey man, you can make of that what you will.
Just picked the kids up from school on a school run Paris and the kids, and I've just been sent a video of Anthony Joshua talking about if he kills somebody, he kills somebody in a boxing ring.
I'm a very respectful guy, brought up by a good family, but if I can kill you, I will kill you.
You know what? He's a little bit long in the tooth to be talking shite like that. He's 37-year-old at the end of his career, fighting a YouTuber, a Disney Channel guy, who Tommy be. And now he's talking about killing him and all that to try and sell. Please. Barking up the wrong tree, idiot. Here's a fun fact. If I ever come across you, bum, I'm knocking you dead spark out. I ain't a YouTuber or a man half your size. I am him. The man. You're a classless loser. Coming off a 15 months knockout defeat to a local lad. Imagine if someone from Morecambe knocked me out. You big bum, useless tosser. Get up, and I can't wait if Jake Paul knocks your spark out, you big bum.
Oh, that's just Fury doing what he normally does, finding a way to inject himself into the conversation the week of an Anthony Joshua fight, because he can't stand when Anthony is getting all the attention, though what does he expect? He's the one who periodically chooses to retire from the sport of boxing whenever the mood strikes him. Making a mountain out of a molehill because Anthony said this and that about the Jake Paul fight? Whatever, buddy. You're hardly the pillar of class after you lost to Alexander Usyk. Weren't you the one who was seen face-planting outside of a bar? Weren't you the one who made excuses immediately after about the conflict between Russia and Ukraine, as if that has anything to do with you losing 2 fights to the same guy, having made both anti-Semitic and homophobic statements in the past that made you quite unpopular in your neck of the woods just for you to disappear and reinvent yourself. You're hardly the pillar of class, Luke. So let's be honest. This isn't really about what Anthony Joshua said and how it pertains to Jake Paul. What this really is Tyson ramping up promotion for what will be the Anthony Joshua fight next year. He had to do it some way. He had to do it somehow, inject himself into the conversation, because if he's coming out of retirement, it's gotta be for Anthony. It's not for the Yagit Kabayels and Fabio Wortleys of the world. If Tyson is back in the gym and back in training for anyone, it's for Anthony. We all know what the story is. Turkey LL Sheikh wants to make the fight. He wants to pay for it. And that's what this is really all about. I've never respected Tyson Fury's periodic stints of inactivity, these convenient retirements he's taken 2 and 3 times throughout the course of his career. It's a means of bowing out of the kitchen when it's getting hot. It's a means of skipping out on being tested. We know that many years ago, Tyson Fury tested positive for nandrolone. And when a fighter is retired, one would assume there's nobody around to test them because they're not an active fighter. So one way you can interpret Tyson Fury's periodic retirements is as a means to skip out on being tested. The fight between him and Anthony Joshua is still worth a whole heap of money. Make no mistake. If you make it, the Brits are going to show up and the Brits are going to watch it. So that when he takes to social media and starts harping about something Anthony said, it's not to defend the sport's good name or because he's some sort of pillar of class. He's just revving the engine to get it going and ramping up promotion for the fight between him and Anthony. And that's all it really is. In many ways, Anthony is having his tune-up fight this weekend, and he might have one more before he sees Fury. Though who does Fury fight in the interim? As he prepares for Anthony, rumor has it he may face Russian danger man Arslanbek Makhmudov. But either way, Fury needs a tune-up fight, and all he's really doing here is starting up the promotion for the big grudge match, the big showdown. That's it.